For this option, you're thinking about really trying to engage your entire class to get them to think about what's coming up with the content, but not necessarily having to spit back facts or things like that. And so starting off class or starting off a unit or starting off a particular section of a lesson by having a class discussion with really big idea questions is a great way to motivate kids and want them to get involved. So you can think about, let's start with an English lesson. You can think about the idea of power. And if you're talking about a book that has power as a theme, then you can think about starting your class with the idea of, students, where in your life do you have power? Where do you lack power? And get the discussion about power going, and a lot of good ideas will come up. And then you can segue into how power corresponds with that particular reading that you're using. And it primes kids, it gives them an idea of what's to come, but it also gets them motivated. So they start thinking about the content without necessarily having to offer a lot of facts or specific instances from the book or any other reading. So for students who might not be traditionally motivated by grades or those things, having them talk about themselves or think about how it relates to their lives, especially adolescents, they are into talking about themselves, then we can automatically connect what they're learning to their lives, which is a really, really powerful motivator. And so you can think like social studies. You could also talk about the idea of power with world leaders, change, conflict. Those are all things that happen in these students' lives, and that you can directly connect what you're learning with that. And so I included a couple of examples on the think-tac-toe sheet that you guys are going to be working with. So hopefully that'll spur some discussion or some ideas that you can think about presenting the content to students. And again, beginning of a lesson, beginning of a unit, switching to another section of the lesson where a discussion would be a great time to get some ideas out there. So I said in science, thinking about form and function. Why are cells a certain way versus others? And in math, why do we have rules? What's important about structure? How can we represent things differently? Those connections, those big ideas are what's going to make it really powerful. So try that, see if it helps kind of spur discussion, maybe motivate your kids a little bit, and hopefully it'll be helpful.